All right, Chiefs Kingdom, welcome in to the AP Film Room. We're back, regular season edition of the AP Film Room. We came to you guys last week before things kicked off for the Chiefs this season, but we're back. We got a game to look at here. That's what we do here. We break the X's and O's down for ArrowheadPride.com. My name's Ron Kopp Jr. I'm the lead analyst at Arrowhead Pride. And with me, as always, my guys, my dudes breaking down the football film with me today. Talon and Bryan. Talon, I'll start with you, man. First of all, I got to say it, man. We Chiefs are looking good, but you got the Hawks poster behind you, man. Hawks are looking good too. Jayhawks are 2-0. What's up? How you feeling about football season?
Yeah, sorry, man. I think I lost her for a little bit. But yeah, Jayhawks 2-0. Chiefs looked really good against the Cardinals. I know I pitched the okay, you going to a bowl game, half serious, half joking, but dude, I don't know. We're getting there. No, man, yeah, I'm super pleased with how the offense looked, especially, I mean, since preseason week one, they've been clicking. And they seem to be a well-oiled machine right now. And yeah, lost a star, but man, they still got Kelsey, and there's some good receivers to support him. So I'm excited to see how far this offense can go.
I am too. We'll be talking about it today. Bryan, my friend, what's up? How are you feeling about football season?
always better when the Chiefs win. And so great start. And for us, it's weird because I know like you think it really sucks for the players and the coaches having to be on this short week, and there's no doubt that it does. But yeah, as we get into the roles that we're in, it's like even the things we're doing are on this super accelerated timeline, and it's going fast. And boys, the Chiefs are going to be playing the Chargers in 48 hours, and it might end up being, it very probably will be the game that decides the division when we look all the way back. So I'm already kind of nervous, even though we're going to look at a really successful performance in Arizona here in just a minute.
Yeah, you're right, man. We got Chiefs football within 2 days. We're recording this on Tuesday night. This will be on your guys' YouTube page during the day Wednesday at some point. So I know we're going to be looking at Arizona, but we're all going to be kind of be looking at this film with an idea of what it could maybe mean for week 2, right? And I'm starting off today. We're looking at Mahomes. I'm going to look at him against the Arizona defense. Him obviously carving it up for 364 and 5 touchdowns, but that's one thing. I to start it off here, boys. And I'll get your take before we look at a play. As good as Mahomes looked, he did it against a team blitzing him on nearly 60% of his dropbacks, and kind of that's Mahomes' bread and butter, right? So I don't know, Talon. I'm just curious your thoughts on obviously we're impressed with what Mahomes did, but does it really, how much does it mean when we know AFC defenses, especially in the AFC West too, know that you're not supposed to blitz Mahomes, and they're probably not going to. So it's probably not really going to be something he sees for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean it's something to be a little worried about, just because. Yeah, I mean it's just a known thing, like you said. You don't do it, and AFC teams rarely do. So I think we're just going to see a little bit of a different approach. Probably lean more on the run game, as they probably should. They got a great offensive line to run block, and we saw glimpses of against Arizona, the run game can be very effective. And this is going to be a high scoring affair, so we can't just run the ball. But I definitely do think this game is going to be a little bit more 50-50 than we saw against Arizona in terms of run pass.
Bryan, just curious your thoughts too on just kind of maybe if the game even means much to take away from what the offense will look like this year with that blitz stat in mind.
It means something for sure. If nothing else, it's a confidence booster. But to Talon's point, the running game is going to be so important. Like, think about Thursday. The Chargers are a team. I'll be shocked if they blitz, more than a couple of times, if right. that. They have the dudes. They don't have to do that. They have Bosa and Mac. Mac looks like he's turned back the clock. It's super unfortunate for anybody playing them. And Andy Reid, I mean, come on. Everybody knows Andy Reid at this point. He's not going to go into that game thinking that they can just drop back and sling the pill from the start. They're going to try to establish a run just like they did against the Cardinals. But they got to be able to do it. They've got to be able to, be successful that way so that Bosa and Mac aren't pinning their ears back. And and getting pressure with 4 because they're not going to blitz, to your point, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how Mahomes disperses the ball against 7 and 8 man coverages.
Right. Yeah. No. That's the thing I was kind of thinking of when I broke down Mahomes' film is just this blitzing and the fact that a team like the Chargers, a team like the Bills, we'll see in week 5 or week 6, I believe. Just teams that won't blitz a lot. But again, Brian, your first point was the one I wanted to make here as we get into the film. Is it was a confidence booster, right? And that is what the key part of this all is that Mahomes was supremely confident, just absolutely just on fire, just very confident in what he was doing. And it showed off in just multitude of ways, whether it was how calm he was, facing the rush and making throws as he's hit. And this is just a quick example right here. It's actually, I think, one of his first completions of the day against the Blitz. So you see top of your screen, you see a slot defender there. I believe it's Isaiah Simmons. He comes late, right? And Mahomes wants to go to that side of the field, and Mahomes wants to hit this quick out, I believe, to Jody or whatever these 2 outs on the top of the field. But he sees that blitz coming, right? And the slot defender of vacating that space, there is room for if Mahomes wants to try to throw it around him, throw it over him, get it to Fortson somehow because he is open, right? No, Mahomes doesn't mess around, man. Don't try to throw it to where it could get tipped, where there could be some, crazy thing that happens. Simmons gets his hand on the ball because you try to throw it past him. Why not just rotate back super quick, identify that there is a blitz coming. So there's going to be holes in the defense. And guess who finds those holes better than anybody is Travis Kelce. So it's just, I liked how quickly he knew to look back and just find Kelce, finding space over the middle. That's exactly what he does. And it's a quick first down and just another good example of what Mahomes can do against the blitz. It's not just, I think people hear like Mahomes against blitz and it's like, oh, well, because he can make all these throws and be off platform, but it's because of his intelligence too. And also his intelligence shows up here. This is before half, they're trying to get a field goal before the half and another blitz, right? Mahomes recognizes the edge blitz coming. And what I like about this, guys, and you can see, I'm going to try to move this so you can see it better, but well, it doesn't make it any better. But Mahomes, what I like about Mahomes is look how deep he gets in his drop. He gets deep, and he's kind of almost baiting the blitzer to the left that's coming around Orlando Brown to he has a good angle at him, right? Because he got so deep, right? And this guy's taking that angle to the quarterback. And I just love how quickly he subtly steps up without even breaking a sweat, steps up into the pocket, makes that angle completely void, right? It's null and void with that step up in the pocket. And then just the confidence, the little flick of the wrist, to Kelce, not even it's just amazing to me that these throws he was making, how calm his delivery was, just, not even, caring that there's guys, bowling down on him. So I don't know, Brian, we lost Talon apparently, but I'll bring you in here just to ask you, when you saw Mahomes against the blitz and maybe on those couple plays, just what's impressive to you about what Mahomes is able to do on these plays?
Yeah. So first thing I would note, I thought his decision making, just watching live, was extremely good. Now I did say during the game, I felt like he was taking way too many hits, and I wouldn't take that back. I still think that holds true. Part of that was because he was extending these plays, and you extend a play against the blitz, you're going to end up taking some shots, even though the ball was usually always out. It wasn't like, I don't even recall if he took a sack the whole game. Actually,
he didn't. He didn't.
Take a sack the whole game. Now, the other thing is too, I love when he makes those throws where it's just like, it doesn't even really look natural, like just kind of almost lollipops it, but it's in a good, intentful way.
Yes.
And I think that's just kind of like, that's something he's not thinking about that. That's just his natural reaction to the moment and seeing where Kelce was and where the defenders were. Like, his brain just works so fast out there to where it's like, oh, this is the best way to get him the ball in the safest possible way. And that's what he did. He did that all day long. That's why he didn't turn the ball over. And honestly, if he's going to continue to do that, he's going to be right there in the thick of our MVP conversation. There's really no doubt. The only thing getting in his way might be health, and we had a scare with that. But so far, all good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's the thing with these flick of the wrist throws that, I wrote in my article today that, don't mistake it for poor, mechanics or poor, fundamentals. It's just Mahomes being confident and feeling so good that he's just, throwing it like he is in the backyard, or like he's just hanging out with the buzz as there's two linebackers, blitzing and sandwiching him. And so that's what was really impressive about his performance. But I'm highlighting here this last play I'll look at. This isn't about necessarily him, and it's not against the blitz. It's actually a 1st and 10, first play of the first drive in the second half. Chiefs want to take a shot play, and there's Kelce celebrating, obviously. And what they do is they set up in 13 personnel. You can see the 3 tight ends all bunched up on the right side, and they're under center. So it may be a run action, right? You want to make the Cardinals think you're running. They actually match it with what looks like 3 linebackers. They're in their base defense here, and so they're in that that 4-3 stack. But they play action fake it, right? And first of all, the pocket opens up beautifully, right? Creed washes the dude out from behind, and you got a perfect pocket to step up into. But he finds Kelce, and it's a great throw and everything. But this play is a staple in the Chiefs offense, and something that they tend to go to a lot with just any player. It doesn't have to be Kelce on this route, but it is called Y cross because it is, usually a player in that Y position, the tight end position, deep crossing across the field. And what this run action does, and you'll see a better angle of it here in a second. What that run action does is it actually just makes the linebackers hesitate just enough, stepping up forward. And what that does is give Kelce the room behind them to find a seam. But the linebackers actually recover pretty well, right? This guy actually does pick up Kelce not too bad in trailing coverage. But Kelce, or I should say Mahomes, just that makes it not matter with an amazing throw. And here's another look at it. But it's just a great play call, great execution, taking advantage of the Cardinals, maybe thinking the Chiefs were going to run on a 1st and 10 to open the third quarter with a big lead already. Andy Reid was in his bag, and this was a good example of it. But you can't be in your bag unless you have a quarterback that can make those tricks that you pull out of your bag look that good. So Mahomes on Sunday was amazing. Talon, I'll throw it to you real quick on any of your just takeaways from Mahomes' performance overall, and just maybe what to think about what you're seeing from our quarterback.
I think this is just what we're going to get. This is Mahomes. This is what Mahomes provides. Eventually, Kelce won't be around, which will be a transition period. But I just think we're always going to see this sort of offense, the way Brady always had the Patriots offense moving. We're just always going to see an efficient offense from Mahomes and Reed and whoever takes over for Kelce and all. I just think it's going to be a factory, man. I think it's going to be Mahomes and everybody else, and I just think this is the new standard. And I'm trying to get used to it still, so it's pretty cool.
All right, Brian. Well, you're up. We're going to call on the defense now. We're flipping to the other side of the ball. Let's look at what the Chiefs defense had to do on Sunday. Obviously, they won 44-21, but the starting defense didn't give much up at all. There was the 1 touchdown drive in the first half, and the rest was in garbage time. So, Brian, tell us about what the KC defense did.
Yeah, I actually just got done writing an article about the defense, taking a quick look at him. Felt a little like Spags. He said that he watched the film of this game on the flight home, and then it was on to the Chargers. But so it was quick looking. He even mentioned in his presser Monday that, intensity and effort is what he saw on film. And there's, I'm not going to sit here and say that Steve Spagnuolo was wrong about what he watched, but he was absolutely right. And this first example, one of the first plays of the game, might have been the first play. I can't remember exactly, first or third, but these guys, they were just playing on a string. Okay. And if you've heard that term before, I just really mean that they're playing as a unit. It was not anybody out there just trying to accumulate stats and worried about themselves. They were playing team-oriented defense, and that is always going to lead to the best results. Even if you're super talented, you have to do that to be great. And with this first play, you're going to see some of that speed, that intensity, that effort that Spagnuolo alluded to. It's a read option play. Now, Noddy, you'll see from this angle, he gets washed down pretty good. Not his best rep. I'm sure he would like to have that one back. But beyond that, George Karlaftis, he is reading here, taking the running back. Okay. So with that being said, Murray sees this. He keeps not an ideal situation, though, having Zach Ertz block Willie Gay here on the edge, try to seal the edge. That works about as you would expect. Gay, he gets past the block real quick. He's in pursuit. You'll see who makes the tackle, okay, Nick Bolton. And Nick Bolton was my defensive player of the game in the instant breakdown. And it was just kind of who he is, just super solid everywhere on the field. Just always around the ball. And what I really love about what he does, look at the angle. Okay, he's so in control. He knows he's about to go and tackle one of the most elusive ball carriers in the entire league, quarterback or not. And it's just the pace. Okay, he's on the right path, but he has the speed to pick it up when he needs to and finish the play. And, of course, he's a great tackler and gets Murray down, which is ultimately the job. Beyond that, you look behind him, okay, if Bolton doesn't make the play, there's 3 guys from the secondary who are right there and are going to make the tackle, 1 yard later with the safeties, Thornhill, Reed, and then in the corner, McDuffie. So that's what I mean. When I say these guys were really playing as a unit, they're all just doing their jobs. Thornhill in pursuit, hard. He's there. McDuffie, you'll see, show this angle again. He sets a hard edge. He's not going to let Kyler Murray get up the sideline. A play that was a loss of 1, I believe, officially, and at best for Arizona, he's looking at a 1-2 yard gain. Like, this is the kind of stuff that can translate. We know they're going to play athletic quarterbacks in the future, and if they're going to keep playing like that, should be really, really successful against those types of teams. Beyond this play, jump in real quick. Talon.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I just wanted to bring Talon in here on just his thoughts on Bolton being the 3 down linebacker, because that is what's happening, right? We're seeing Nick Bolton play on all 3 downs, and actually something I noticed from the game is actually they were trusting their nickel a lot more with Willie Gay and Bolton on those 3rd downs instead of maybe just going to dime. But I don't know, Talon, how are you excited for Nick Bolton? What are your expectations for Nick Bolton, and maybe did they change at all after a pretty dang good performance on Sunday?
Man, it feels like this guy's been around for a lot longer than he has. And
right.
I like him on the field because I trust him in the box. I trust him to stuff a gap, but also I trust him against a player like Murray or an Eckler coming up, to where these guys are really good in space. But Bolton is also good in space, man. And he's just got that rare ability to stretch the field horizontally and run down guys, and then also fill an open gap and make a run stuffing tackle. So, yeah, man, I trust him every time he's on the field. And out of all of the linebackers, and it's a talented group, he's definitely the one I have the most confidence in.
I'm starting to feel the same way. Bryan, continue on with your breakdown of the D.
Yeah, so one more here, clip 2. What I'm really looking at is, first off, the design. Spagnuolo kind of, he gets in his own bag with some of the exotic stuff he likes to do. It's a 3rd and medium here at midfield. Spagnuolo, the other day, he mentioned, Brian Cook was the first rookie out of his mouth. You'll see him right here, number 6. The first one he mentioned that he thought did some nice things. And this is something that I just want to point out because when you watch it live, you probably wouldn't have noticed. I know I didn't initially. He's going to bluff the blitz here. He's going to pretend that he is coming after Murray. But the way he times it is almost perfect, to the point that I think it actually helped the play come together the way that it did. It helped Frank Clark, the center, the guard here, the right guard. They have communication issues with what's going on. And I just think that what Cook does here with his timing, it was just so perfectly, executed. And, of course, on the other side of that, you have to give credit for Jones and Clark. They've ran these types of twists and loops together for a while now. You'll see great from this angle how quick Clark looked bursting upfield. But, yeah, I just can't help but wonder if Cook – it's a little thing, but it's something that can really make a big difference when those offensive linemen and Kyler Murray, they're trying to think fast out there. And you'll see even down here, Karlaftis, he bluffs. He actually ends up getting chipped to the ground, but it just kind of goes to show some of the crazy things that Spagnuolo was willing to do and show right from the start of the season. And it's hard to really complain because they end up overloading this left side of the defense forcing Murray out to his left, I have to believe that was probably part of their game plan. They wanted to get him out of the pocket, moving that direction to where he would have to throw. And it almost ended up with an interception here. Fenton, this is a play he wants back. There's no doubt. If he just attacks it and doesn't hesitate, which is probably Fenton's biggest flaw to me as a player. Too often with the ball in the air or even as a tackler, he's just a little too hesitant for my taste. But nonetheless, a good overall encouraging play. It got him off the field and kept the pressure on, which the defense did kind of all day because as we tie it all together, man, they're faster and more ferocious than they've been in a while.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the safety group is definitely been, I think, the preseason and the regular season. Juan Thornhill had a good game Sunday. Justin Reed has just been flying around, again, in preseason and regular season. I'm excited about the safety group. I think they're, I think, again, a defensive coordinator likes his dime so much in crucial situations. I think it's going to be fun to have those three guys. But let's go back to offense. It's time. Let's go back. I want to talk run game because that was a key thing and something that Talon we talked about in the preseason and maybe weren't as maybe excited about the run game after those first two games, but week one comes and it looks a little better than maybe it did before. So show us what the run game was looking like on Sunday.
All right, so here we're going to see a little counter with. I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. My fault.
Oh, you're good.
Here we go. All right. Clyde EdwardsHelaire had a really good game, and that is a lot of credit to the offensive line and the guys up front. You can never forget about the guys in the trenches when you're running the ball. Just a little tip to any young running backs out there. Always give love to the big boys. So anyway, moving on here. This is a little counter play. We're going to see a pull from Trey. We're going to see a pull from the tight end Noah Gray executed pretty perfectly here. We're going to see Trey pull and get one, boom. We're going to see Noah Gray come up behind him, boom, get two. A little cutback from the running back, sliding in there behind the center for the backside A gap, and he hits the hole really well. I just like to see the punch out of Clyde. The thing we haven't really seen a lot from him is the explosiveness, is that burst. I feel like we saw it on Sunday. I saw, it was there. We didn't see a lot of him. We saw more Pacheco actually toward the end of the game when the game was a blowout. But I think we're going to see a lot of Clyde this season. And I think this is one reason. He just looks fresher. He looks like he's confident. He looks like he knows where he's going. He understands the offense more. He understands his linemen more. And look at that perfect vision, scoring up his shoulders right into the gap and just exploding through and then running behind the pad and getting whatever he can, man. I love seeing this out of Clyde. I don't know how you guys feel about him coming into his contract year. Or I believe it's his contract year, right?
They gotta pick up his. Yes, exactly. And so, it is basically a contract year. No, you're right, Talon. And I was definitely impressed with what I saw from Clyde, but in the pass game as well, too. And I think that's always been the key thing. I think when he's healthy, right, he's been impressive on the ground. But, if he can be healthy and maybe have those passing down reps, too, I think his production will just go up this year and that'll help. So. Yeah,
100%, man. So here's another one from Clyde. And this one's more, it's stretched out. It's more horizontal. It's more of a gap play more than a power play. So we're going to see Clyde here. And I love the little dip he gives inside, man, to get number 34 to commit. Boom, right there. And then he's off to the races. You see that wall being formed by Brown and by Gray. You love to see the backs of those blockers just get right, ass to gap, butt to gap, excuse me. And Clyde follows his blockers perfectly, and I just love the vision. I love how he's looking backside to make those guys commit, and then he bursts outside and gets what he can, gets up that sideline, keeps his balance a little bit, gets the first. So this is going to be a good year for the running game, guys. I'm really excited from what we saw. This little glimpse again. They didn't lean on it very much because of what we talked about with Mahomes and the blitzes and just what the passing game was able to do. But I think we're going to see a lot of it more on Thursday because it was such a short week. And when you have a short scheme and against a division guy, you have to lean on your basic plays, and a lot of those basic plays are going to come from the run game.
Yep, you're right, but I want you to stay there while I get Bryan. Bryan, if you just have any opinion on what you saw from Clyde or the run game, and maybe your level of optimism, because again, I think in the preseason we all kind of saw it wasn't anything different, maybe, but but I don't know. It looks maybe a little more effective once the regular season hits. What do you think?
Yeah, it's got to be that helmet he's wearing, right? Right, guys? It's got to be his new. He's got the Power Ranger helmet going on. No,
Really?
seriously though, it's kind of what I was talking about towards the beginning of the show. We'll see Thursday. They're going to try to run. Like Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid both this week have said they need to be able to run the ball when they have to, and I think that's the lesson that they took away from the Bengals game as much as anything was, gosh, if we're going to see 3-man rushes, we have to be able to run it at will, especially with this offensive line.
Right.
So hope to see more of the same. If they stack a performance like they did here against Arizona Thursday, it's going to be really promising moving forward, because I don't know what defenses do if they have to deal with both the run and Mahomes in the passing game. That could be the best offense since 2018, really, when the running game was at its best.
And I think that's kind of what a lot of us say, right? Is that if the run game ever becomes a vital part of the offense, it could be as good as the offense has ever looked. But let's stay on the run game and let's get into our edition of Rookie Watch. And Talon's gonna keep us or kick us off here on this season, this inaugural segment we have on the AP Film Room, Rookie Watch, where we'll just bring a quick clip, maybe a clip or two of what a rookie did in the previous game, just to check up on the guys that a guy like Pacheco had a great game, but if you stopped watching after the 37-7 lead, you probably didn't see it. So, Talon, take it away. You got a big run here from Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, man, and just real quick, I just want to shout the Brian mentioned Clyde's helmet. I think Jalen Daniels has the same helmet.
He does.
So
yeah, he does.
It's something. There's something there. But anyway, yeah, man. So Pacheco, he actually had the most carries out of any back, I think, for the game, Cardinals or Chiefs, and he had the most yards. He had 62, I believe, is what he finished with, and he also got his first career touchdown. Shout out to him. Really good debut professionally for Isaiah Pacheco. That 10 throws me off every time, but we'll get used to seeing Pacheco and not Hill. But right now, man, this is a lot of good stuff to see from a rookie. And first off, just the angle of the initial handoff here. You see, this could be detrimental to a play if the running back takes a bad angle here. But he doesn't. He takes the right path. He gets in the gap. He has those nimble feet in the hole. He makes some people miss. And then he bursts through, balance, stiff arm the guy that's already kind of going to the ground. And I love his power and I love his speed, but I love the fact that he brings a little shiftiness to his game as well. He's not just a one-trick pony where he's downhill. He's got a little shake and bake to him, and I think that's going to develop over time. It doesn't necessarily look natural to me for him to be doing that, but it's something that I think he's going to refine over time, and it's just going to make him more dangerous because he's got the power, he's got the speed, and when he's able to round that out, give him a year or two, this is going to be a dangerous running back. And just this is one example. There's plenty more we could choose from, but I love his ability to get through the layers of the defense and then finish the playoff and get a positive play as a rookie. I think it's a bright future for Pacheco.
Yeah, you mentioned Clyde looked good, but if you're talking about physically, people, the guys, who looks just kind of more explosive, just more kind of exciting when they have the ball in their hands, Isaiah Pacheco does seem to be that kind of guy where you're kind of going to the edge of your seat when he gets the ball in his hands. You can tell just by those elbows pumping, those pistons pumping. Man, he's a guy that is definitely I'm excited to see continue to grow in this offense. Another rookie that's going to continue to grow, and he actually might have to a little quicker than maybe we all thought. Jalen Watson, the 7th round pick. We didn't think we would see much of him, Brian. Right away with Rashad Fenton, Trent McDuffie, and L'Jarius Sneed kind of hogging the cornerback reps, and then even Joshua Williams is someone that we all kind of thought maybe would play over him, but I don't know. Trent McDuffie gets hurt in Arizona and now is on IR. So now Jalen Watson is starting in the nickel formations against the Chargers offense and Justin Herbert in only his second NFL game. He got a pass breakup against Arizona, which is the play shown here. But Brian, I don't know, just your thoughts on an inexperienced, youthful secondary getting even more inexperienced and young with the 7th round pick now starting in week 2.
Man, get well soon, McDuffie. He really balled out there in that opening window of time that he got to play. I'm excited about him. I think it already looks like a player who's a hit, but to your point, he's out. It could have been worse, I think. We all heard he's getting carted off and thought the worst of the situation. Thankfully, it's just a hamstring, but it does mean that it's Jalen Watson's time to grow up and grow up quick. But, he's exceeded expectations at every turn so far, quite literally here on this play. They tested him immediately, and why wouldn't you? Justin Herbert's going to do the same thing Thursday, right, wherever he's lined up. Luckily for the Chiefs, sounds like they're going to be without Keenan Allen, who is probably their best receiver still to this day. But I don't know. What I like about Watson is I think he shows the confidence, the demeanor that you got to have if you're going to be a solid corner, which the Chiefs, man, they just seem to find these guys, just plucking them off trees and finding playable, solid, competent corners. I expect the same thing from Watson, and it's not the most picture-perfect play here, but ultimately there's no penalty. He gets his head around, hits him in the helmet, but as long as the ball doesn't get caught by the offensive player, it's nothing that any of us are ever going to complain about. So he'll just have to be ready, because I know those coaches are telling him he's going to see plenty of targets, and even if one goes bad, he's got to bounce back and bounce back immediately.
Yep. And that's the thing. Herbert's the kind of quarterback that can really, make a guy pay and make a rookie pay for, and especially, if he is matched up on Mike Williams, that's going to be his go-to target anyway. But it's even amplified when it's a 7th round pick on him potentially. It'll be interesting to watch. But one last rookie here before we get out of here, it was Sky Moore. He probably had the most limited work of a lot of the big name rookies we in Chiefs Kingdom are excited about, but the work he did get was an exciting play, that's for sure. You can see here, and I'll restart it here from the wide angle, but you see he is in the slot at the bottom of the route, and he's getting the early taste of what it's like to play with Mahomes, because his initial route just, is completely negated because Mahomes has to move out of the pocket to the left away from it because of pressure. And Sky just doesn't even, worry about it, right? He just continues on his route and ends up in a perfect position for Mahomes to find as he's scrambling out. But obviously the impressive part of this play was kind of that yak ability, right? Almost sneaking through and almost scoring a touchdown. You see it on the end zone angle here. It's just something where he is a playmaker. You see it in his punt return ability too. You see, he didn't run the fastest 40 or whatever, but man, he does have some wiggle and some ability to move. And so, yeah, that was something I was impressed by on this play, but only one catch, guys. Are we wanting to see more from Sky Moore? Do we think we will see more from Sky Moore coming up? I don't know, Talon, what do you think? Is there more coming for the rookie sooner than later?
I mean, I don't know if we're going to see it Thursday. I thought he did great as a punt returner. He doesn't seem afraid to make a play, but I trust him. He seems reliable there. So I think we're going to see a play as a special teamer before we necessarily see one as a receiver. That's just my opinion. I don't know how quickly he's going to get integrated from Sunday to Thursday. But long term, sure, he's going to eventually be, see more plays like this.
And I agree with you, Talon. I think you're right, but I'll make a direct comparison. I guess you see a guy like McCole Hardman and his usage on Sunday, Bryan. I mean, do you see? Or I'm kind of almost to the point where I would maybe like to see Sky Moore eat into those snaps a little more. To be honest with you, I don't know. You have any opinions on that specific position battle?
I want to see them use all 5. Now, obviously, Juju and Marquez, they probably need to be eating a significant chunk of the wide receiver snaps, but they have this 5 deep wide receiving core who have all shown at some point in the last month the ability to make plays. So use that to your advantage. And where you used to have one elite wide receiver, well, now you've got 5 who can kind of keep each other fresh. And I mean, you just think about that, and anybody who's ran routes before knows it's kind of a nice luxury when you can get a break every now and then and come out and be fresh while the other guy across from you is not. I think that's something they could lean into, and I want to see more. I definitely want to see more, play more. If it's at Hardman's expense or really anybody, because I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, no, that's a good point about the 5 receivers because, and we saw Justin Watson get hurt, unfortunately, in the week 1 game. But, they do have 5 guys that seem like they can, be competent and be contributors. But that is the show today, fellas. A good show, fun breaking down that week 1 win. There was a lot to talk. There was a lot to talk about. I wish we could talk about it all, but we want to try to hit on some of the finer points for you, fine people. Fine points for the fine people. We got a game coming up. We mentioned it. We've been talking about it. So we will be breaking that down next week. You should expect it kind of same time next week. We'll have a little more time maybe to check in on that, that coach's film and really diagnose what we want to talk about. So be excited, guys. I appreciate you checking in. Make sure you're subscribing or liking the YouTube page, following the YouTube page. Make sure you're following all of our work. Me, Bryan, and Talon's work. We do. They got the Insta breakdowns on game days. They got film reviews coming out after games and sometimes even before games. And so, yeah, we'll be there at the site. So keep following, keep reading. We appreciate you, and we will catch you next time.